Buffet or all-you-can-eat restaurant workers of Reddit, what is the biggest display of gluttony you have witnessed? Old Country Buffet. I saw a guy eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He just rested, read the newspaper, and wouldn't leave the fricking booth. He was there for 7 hours. He did this every day. He was probably 400 pounds. I was at the buffet at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. An extremely obese man was sitting at a table by himself and not eating until the kitchen staff refilled the rack of creme brulee. The obese guy immediately got up, grabbed a tray and proceeded to take every single bowl in the rack. Once back at his table, he ate one after another like he was a vacuum. I am guessing he consumed at least 50 of them in less than 5 minutes. The Bellagio buffet doesn't frick around and neither do the diners. Watched a man waddle back to his table with what had to be at least $100 worth of prime rib as well as about 2 or 3 pounds worth of potatoes. The beast nearly inhaled it and got up for more of something. We left before he came back, but I think the buffet lost money on that guy. Not an employee, but I had the honor of sitting across the table from a friend who pulled this one. First he went up and got a huge plate of crab legs and a bowl of clarified butter, then made a second trip for prime rib, 2 huge slices. He sat there and cracked all the crab legs into the bowl of butter, then dumped it onto the first piece of prime rib, slapped the second piece on top and ate the first breadless sandwich I had ever seen. So he basically made a slightly classier KFC's Double Down. I work at a small town buffet. Saturday nights is prime rib and seafood, shrimp. We have a regular that eats on average 6-7 lbs of prime rib and 2 pounds of shrimp. How the frick can a person put 8-9 lbs of protein away like that? God help the toilet that he bombs later. I seriously can't imagine eating that much food. Worked in a family-owned Midwestern buffet. Biggest display is a toss-up. We had people that would put a few sugar packets into soda, because that's what Coke needs is more sugar. The worst part was they would often complain first, "Excuse me, I think there's something wrong with your Coke machine. It's not sweet." "Sure, I'll check it. Working fine." "Oh okay, just pour a bunch of sugar in that soda, that's what you need." The other thing was the people, typically very obese women 40 plus, that would crap themselves and not even have the decency to leave. Either they were so accustomed to sharting themselves that they didn't notice, or their gluttony overruled any self-respect they had so they could get one more plate. I'm not sure which is worse. This is the comment that made me wish my gym were open at 2 AM. Chinese tourists in gambling cities go truly Olympic on casino buffets. It doesn't even make me mad. It borders on the superhuman. How much food a tour bus parked in Reno will put away? I'm certain that at least one species of crab has gone completely extinct because of the seafood buffet at the Atlantis meeting with 20 camera-toting slot junkies from Hong Kong. No disrespect intended towards Chinese tourists, of course. They're a very important gear in the ever-turning machinery of the gambling community. I work at Olive Garden and we had unlimited pasta a few months ago. I had one guy get 5 refills on his pasta bowl and get about 3 salad refills. It came with unlimited salad and breadsticks. I didn't mind because he tipped me well. Those Emmett Red Robin pee me off. Supposedly it's bottomless fries, but after like only the 3rd refill they just don't come back to the table anymore. Endless shrimp at Red Lobster is always a lovely time. One guy comes into my particular restaurant every year, the infamous scampi guy, and eats nothing but shrimp scampi. He then drinks the leftover butter that it's cooked in, and stacks the dishes up to count. He won't let you to take them away. They're his lovely, buttery trophy. I'd be willing to bet that you can hear his arteries popping shut from the lobby. Gagged at drinking butter. Used to work at an upscale buffet Sunday mornings at a golf course. We had a bacon bandita who would come and stuff trays full of bacon in her purse wrapped in one thin napkin. Saw the guy eat the entire bin of pickled beets off an Asian buffet in Lakewood. Company. Huge mound, like 5 inches tall of beets. My high school football team linemen would go to the Chinese food buffet in this chicken place buffet and eat till they puked in the bathroom, then go back and eat more. It's real life Hunger Games. A couple of years ago we had this small soul food all you can eat buffet, the Southern Smokehouse. Decent place, always smelled like a sweaty ham though and served RC cola. Some guy came in, ate till he would pass out, wake up and start it all over again. Guy had a heart attack and died right there in booth. Are not sound expected. My ex and his prison guard co-workers went to their local CC's Pizza after shift. A couple of those guys were huge and my ex had been fasting for a whole day to prep. After they went through every clean plate available at the buffet, the manager asked them to leave and not come back. Not a restaurant worker but a patron at Mongolian barbecue in Lansing, MI. A few years back, I saw a family of about 7, all heavy set 300 plus each, eat 6 plates, and the waitress that was assigned to their table told me that they ate 3 before I got there. Now I'm craving Mongolian barbecue. It's like 20 minutes from me. Dang you lol. I was the glutton. A good 6 years ago I went to London with my dad and sister to see Les Mis at the West End. We stayed overnight in a Hilton, and I thought it was going to be posh and lovely. It was a dang dive. The only thing that made up for it was the breakfast. All you can eat buffet, and the food was good. So, being a bit of a stubborn cow, I thought I'd get my money's worth from the food. Seeing as the rest of the hotel was so crap, I had no less than 12 breakfasts. Started out with fruit and yogurt, came back for waffles, then pancakes and syrup, more fruit, then a bacon sandwich, then eggs and bacon, then a full English. You get the idea. After the 6th portion, they were all fairly small. I was starting to feel it. By the 8th, I was struggling. By the 10th, people were staring. I fell asleep after the 12th, just there at the table. I then got bollocked for making a scene. Worth it. There are about 20 plus Hiltons and affiliates, Doubletrees, etc. in London, and the majority are grim dives with cramped rooms, stained carpets, shite service, etc. But most put on good breakfast buffets. A free breakfast is a staple of the Hilton Elite program, and a lot of regular guests will put up with no end of indignities as long as they get their giant free full English breakfast. Kind of related. I used to live near this crappy, hole-in-the-wall Chinese joint that made the best egg rolls I have ever tasted. The rest of the food was bland as crap, but my god, those egg rolls. I walked in one night, drunker than a monkey's uncle, and told them to give me all the egg rolls they had in the little warmer bin. Got home with about 15 of these things and shared them with my equally drunk roommate. A few nights later we both showed up and again ordered all the egg rolls. After that, every time we showed up the little old lady at the register would shout something at the kitchen, and minutes later we would have a ridiculous amount of the most delicious egg rolls ever made. I miss that place. Not as good as some of these stories, but I work at a pizza place that has a lunch buffet every day and a dinner buffet 2 days of the week. Wednesdays we put out boneless popcorn chicken honey BBQ wings on the buffet, and oh my god, it's like people inhale entire pans of it. They're basically the wings that are too small, not meaty enough to serve to customers who pay for boneless wings. So we save them and use them on buffet on Wednesday. What sucks is we used to have to save only 1 bucket for the buffet, and employees could eat the rest throughout the week. But for the past month, there have been people coming into the buffet only to get platefuls of wings. So now we have to save all the pieces for buffet. We usually end up with about 3-4 buckets of popcorn chicken per week. And now they're for buffet only. We put chocolate chip cookies on the buffet, about 2 dozen at a time, and there have been a few times where people will just take half the cookies at once, for a table of 2. One time there was an older lady in line, and a little girl behind her. Older lady sees the little girl obviously waiting for the cookies, and still takes all 6 or whatever was left with her. Then asked me if there were more coming out. The little girl looked like she was about to cry. Luckily I already had some more in the oven, so when they came out, I purposely brought a plate with several cookies on it to the little girl's table and said something loudly like, "I saw you didn't get to grab any cookies, so I brought you some nice fresh ones." I then waited until a bunch of other people were at the buffet before I set the rest of the cookies down, then told the older woman that I brought more out. By the time she got up there, cookies were gone again. Cue death glares from older lady, and a complaint about us not keeping the buffet stocked. I was like, sorry, we are making new ones again. Those cookies are really popular. People just grab them all up in my very best cheerful tone. Recently a group of 4 came in, average size, all older people, 2 women. 2 men, and I started trying to time throwing pizzas in so I could get them out fresh right after they went up to the buffet. They would all go up together and just demolish all 5 of the pizzas on there. Wiped out the dessert pizza on me later too. It was full 12 slices, then bam gone, and asked for more. Another time, a slightly overweight, middle-aged couple came in, stayed for 2 hours, and they ate about 6 pizzas by themselves. My manager asked me the next day why I put in so many pizzas when there were only 2 tables, 3 total people. There was a bad snowstorm that night. They just kept eating. I get asked about once a week, always by elderly people, if they can't take a few slices to go, or they wrap like 4 cookies in a napkin. Yeah, I see you. Those freaking cookies. I generally try to respect my elders, but I'd have said something too to that crabby old harridan. It was sweet of you to bring some cookies to that poor girl. Sat a table away from a family of 3 with a clear view of their food. This is a pretty nice place. White tablecloth. $75 $100 per person. The lady was heavier, but not quite grotesque, and the son was a pretty normal looking teenager. The father, or eldest male at the table, was this gargantuan, lumbering, slightly British humanoid, probably 450 pounds at 6 feet 5 inches, and I'm not crapping you, I could hear his salivary glands kick into gear when they put the bread down. The poor server never had a chance. Immediately upon placing the bread on the table, Gargantus shot his hand into the folded linen and put the entire loaf on his appetizer plate and requested another loaf and a Coke. Now, this bread is dang good. I can understand the enthusiasm, but hearing this man's breathing rate change from around 12-15 feet away and listening to his voice start quivering like he was trying to hold off an impending orgasm alerted me that we'd have to keep notes on this encounter. The server was also ours, and impressively, we never lacked for attention, though that may be because of what must have been 60 trips to the table nearby. We were able to ask at the end of the meal what the counts were for bread and cokes. Gargantus alone had put down 11 loaves, a total of 18 loaves to the table, around 10 ramekins of butter, and 20 cokes. This sucker had an entire 4-course meal in addition to that nonsense, and this food is rich food. By my calculations, I put him at nearly 7,000 calories before factoring in his goddamn dinner. That poor server. Listening to his voice start quivering like he was trying to hold off an impending orgasm alerted me that we'd have to keep notes on this encounter. I wasn't sure if I wanted to finish the story, but this convinced me. Not bad. 5/7. We went to a breakfast buffet for my birthday at the Machine Shed in Des Moines, Iowa. I highly recommend it. BTW, great food. My friend got a Belgian waffle and started putting what he thought was whipped cream on them. I look at him and say, dude, that's whipped butter. He gets this concerned look on his face and says, oh, well, gotta live with your mistakes. He proceeds to eat a Belgian waffle with 6 spoonfuls of whipped butter on it. Another friend took the entire pan of crab rangoons when it was brought out at our local Chinese buffet, but he's a monster tipper, so the owners only got mildly annoyed. I bet the waffle wasn't dry. Our high school cross-country team went to a local restaurant and ate them out of food. All the beef, chicken, pork, and fish were consumed until the restaurant had to close down the buffet. After this, they instituted a limit on the number of times that you could refill your plate, which kind of defeats the purpose of all you can eat. Haha, I do remember doing crap like that in XC. I am a rail thin girl, but back in my XC days I begged my parents to take me to a diner I had run past at practice, where I proceeded to out-eat my dad, who's a tank. We would have had problems if a good chunk of the team had all gone somewhere together. Saw a child who must have been 200 pounds dunk a chicken leg in the chocolate wonderful. Worked at a buffet in Gatlinburg, TN. 400-ish pound man came in around 11 AM. He had 4 full plates of food, ate the whole thing, then started keeling over, fell onto the floor clutching his torso. I thought he was having a heart attack, so I called for my manager. As soon as my manager called 911, the guy was in pain and would not respond. This guy let out the loudest, smelliest fart I have ever seen. The entire restaurant was cleared out and the dude laid there for 30-ish seconds. rolled over like a hog stuck in mud and propelled himself back onto his feet to go back for more food. Listen Reddit, I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, so I don't want to condemn his weight or anything, but Jesus Christ, everyone has limits man, and he went way past his. Like 15ish years ago, this buffet that was open 7 days a week started closing on Sunday because all of the local Samoans would all go there at once after church. This is totally something I would do, just passive aggressively shut down my business instead of saying something to them. I had an ex who got totally crap faced and then went to Sizzler with friends for all you can eat shrimp years ago. He ate 9 plates of shrimp before the manager came and offered him a $20 gift card to just leave already. He was a super loud, happy, cheeky drunk, and was clapping and cheering loudly for himself with each plate of shrimp he finished. I seem to be seeing the manager coming out and offering things after a certain amount of plates. I wonder if they are instructed to do this to mitigate loss. Bit late to the party, but hey, I worked in at an all-you-can-eat Japanese place. They had waiters, including me, to run the food, but the sushi was displayed buffet style. Weird construction, I know. This woman decided it was appropriate to take literally all the sushi, 4 trays, back to her table and stuffing it in her face with a fork and tomato sauce. Her husband looked too afraid to say anything about it. This was the same woman that went off at me because her tea was too hot and if I could get an ice cube to cool it down. Don't miss that place. Not a worker server, I'm the customer. Last year our local Papa John's had an all-you-can-eat pizza offer, which also includes cheese sticks. My friend and I decided to have a contest on who could eat more. Ended up finishing 3 whole pizzas, each, and a handful of cheese sticks too. Not an employee, but witness this at a pizza buffet. Group of 5 guys in their late teens early 20s sat right by the buffet and would dump entire pizzas onto their plates as soon as the pizzas came out. They also cleaned out the dessert bar and emptied the ice maker. After 45 minutes of this, and having had no chance of getting to the pizza before they did, I asked for a refund and left. The staff wasn't doing anything to stop these pigs. I saw a really big guy in a Chinese buffet. Me and my ex were the first people who waited in front of the door after their break because we wanted the good seats. This guy was already there and looked like hypnotized. I will never forget him. I think he might have been a regular and he could stay during the breaks. Worked at a family buffet. A boy ate so much his stomach started pushing the food back out. He tried running to the bathroom and left a trail of puke the whole there. Came back from the bathroom to grab more food. As a customer, watching my nephew throw a fit in the middle of a buffet because he thought he could show up at the tail of end lunch and stay through dinner and not have to pay for the dinner portion. Nephew throw a fit in the middle of a buffet. Please tell me your nephew is like 24 or some crap and not like a little kid. Back in my high school days I was at a Chinese buffet with my mom's significant other who happened to be a significantly sized person. After his 10th plate and at the end of the lunch rush, the owner comes out and shouts in broken English, "Hey, fat boy, food all gone. You go home now." Being the gentle giant that he was, my mom's beau finished his plate, let out a rip-roaring belch, and proceeded to destroy their bathroom with the bowel movement to end all bowel movements. I have not been back to that restaurant since. I'm sure there is an old yellowed picture of us still behind the counter in order to notify staff of our transgression. Actual buffet worker here. This is actually not funny, but here goes. It was a couple. She was probably 500 pounds and wheelchair bound. He wasn't that much lighter, but walked only via using her wheelchair like a walker. They were put at a table that holds 2 chairs on each side. They had the wheelchair on one side, 1 chair on the other. They were slow getting food back to the table, but they each brought 2 mounting plates, like layer after layer. Not trying to be rude, but they were each so large, they really couldn't lean in over the plate. Food had a large journey to make from plate to mouth, and things like rice and such were falling off. Yes, they were getting food on themselves. The table next to them demanded to be moved as they were disgusted by the mess, plus their heavy breathing. It was getting late, so we just didn't seat anyone else next to them. And you are the second comment that made me wish my gym were open at 2 AM. Not a buffet employee. I'm from Canada and made a visit to Texas. There I noticed something I've never seen before. The real tangible difference between Americans and Canadians. I went to a Chinese buffet near Houston. Sitting down, I noticed to my right a couple eating full plates filled with crawfish. They must have had 3 full plates stacked underneath the ones they were currently working on. I decided to watch and see how much crawfish they could manage and if they could stand up and go for more. They found a good solution. Their kids were at the serving area carrying more crawfish to their table. Half an hour later they must have eaten 10 pounds of crawfish between them. No Chinese food, number. Only plates and plates of crawfish served by their kids. Edit. Okay. A quick Google search provided the calorie information for 1 pound of crawfish. 1 pound equals 327 calories. Thus 10 pounds is 3,270 calories. A Big Mac has 257 calories for perspective. Edit. The Big Mac calorie is per 100 grams. And I think the point is being missed. Sure, you can sit down and eat 10 pounds of crawfish. I'm not doubting that. But it's highly caloric to do so and not healthy like at all. Crawfish has a pretty high effort versus yield ratio. Looks like a lot on a plate, but not that much meat. Similar to oysters. A heaping plate would not be enough for me either. Edit. I can't brain today. Today, Club Med, Phuket. I dished myself some penne arrabbiata, then proceeded to the self-serve Parmesan cheese wheel. After a brief queue, a child at the age of 8 or so cut in front of me. With her acrylic nails, she clawed at the cheese wheel, completely disregarding the gyro. I stood in disgust as she downed the chunk. Not only this, she decides to go for seconds with the same hand that had been in her mouth, but this time she pinched the remnants left by her first attempt and dusted the parmesan on her own pasta. Edit. Ate my penne paste without parmesan. I used to work at a resort in banquets. We had a group in over the weekend who had meetings all day and we set up buffets for them for breakfast and lunch. I saw a 300+ pound woman sashay up to the buffet, double check that no one was paying attention to her, grab a handful of bacon out of the tray, and proceed to shove it up her shirt. I imagine she deposited it between her front lumps, because she quickly withdraws her hand no longer containing any bacon. I really wanted to tell her that she could have taken it on a plate or in a bag since they paid for the buffet, but that would have been way too awkward of a conversation. I like to imagine her so had a bacon fetish, and she was just trying to grease up her ham cannons for later kinkage. TL. Dr. Big Floppy Bacon Boobs. My friend used to work at Hometown Buffet and told me there was an obese family that stopped by once a week with laptops and just ate and watched movies from open to close. The casino near me used to have a Sunday brunch at their buffet. It was the full buffet and free champagne, mimosas, and cheap beer. I went with a party of 5 alcoholics. I don't drink. They had it all planned out and we arrived promptly when they opened, 10 AM. We stayed until 3:30 PM as they all got hammered on their free mimosas. I ate a wonderful brunch, socialized for an hour and then ate a wonderful dinner when they put out the dinner food at 3. It was glorious. Not a worker, but the first time you take a friend to Fogo de Chao, they work on putting down more meat than one ever should. By the end of the trip, they are just in a terrible situation, while you sit there full and comfortable, while getting your money's worth, because you understood what laid before you. They just saw unlimited steak and felt they had to keep going and going and going. Sit by the chocolate fountain at one of these places. You'll never eat at a buffet again. I wouldn't touch one of those with a 10-foot pretzel. Gross. Obligatory not me, but back in the 80s when my dad and his friends first moved to San Francisco, they loved sushi, and he and his best friend visited this little sushi buffet once. Really tiny place, like a dozen or so seats, small space, but a lot of sushi. Over the course of lunch, at this all-you-can-eat sushi buffet, my dad and his best friend ate literally all the fricking sushi in the restaurant. They paid, got yelled at by the owner, and left. The restaurant closed down for a few days while it recovered. TL. DR. Dad and his bro ate enough food to close down a restaurant. I worked at a pizza buffet and I saw obese people take 2-3 plates and load them up with 6-8 pieces of pizza each. They would carry those plates back and eat just that. They were too lazy to get up for more and some would eat all, which is like 2 medium pizzas, and it wasn't rare for a whole plate to be untouched. I worked at a pizza inn. We had a regular who would get like 5 pizzas worth from the buffet and only eat the toppings. I don't know if that counts as gluttony because he wasn't really eating much, but I was always horrified by the waste as I had to throw away plates and plates of discarded cheese pizza from his table. This thread is making me crave so many things all at once. Worked in a casino as a hostess a few years back now, and our company had a reward program for people who were regulars, and by regular they came in every day or every other day. The casino would give them free meals, snacks, drinks, the works, and every day I would see the same group of Asian customers come in ordering everything on our menu, taking 2 bites off each plate. Sometimes they wouldn't even eat the food, and it would be cleared 5 hours later and touched when they left. I know families who struggle to eat some days, and seeing this made me sick. Worst part was our company was so nasty they wouldn't take in my suggestion to offer the untouched food to a shelter or work on tapering back this disgusting habit. Basically got told to get fricked. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.